I'm Batman. I mean, I know. I couldn't help myself, sure, no. With that being said, Grayze Dynamics, you know how we do. We like to have fun. We like to be honest. We like to review gear. We like to play with different gear. And you know what? At the end of the day, give you our opinions on what we think of that gear. So, this one is Steven's wheel we're going to do a review of. I want to thank Logan or WikiOH at 3B Printing for printing out all of the wonderful gear for this particular review. He's a godsend. I was able to just literally drive to him and pick it up because he's local to me. And he will help you along the way with advice and feedback on things on how they should go, as well as what are the best practices. So again, here's a guy who has 5 3D printers and who knows his stuff. So thank you, Logan, for doing that for me. As always, this video is brought to you as honest as I can be about something that my buddy purchased and asked me to put together. It's not an easy wheel. I'm not going to say it's easy compared to the Pokorny stuff or some other stuff I've built. It is quite complicated. It's not for a noob. If you're new to building DIY wheels, I wouldn't choose this as your first one. I might go somewhere else. And with that being said, it's a pretty good design. It just requires a lot of little tedious things, as well as knowledge of Arduino and IDEs and DDC. So yeah, good luck with that. So this is the wheel. This is the Velocitas Imperium Lynx GT3. It is a light wheel. It is a very easy to use wheel. It's not very complicated. As with anything that you build that is DIY, you get what you pay for. It's got 10 buttons on the front. So again, the buttons, I can't really comment how they feel because you might go cheaper. It's got 2 funky switches as well. Again, all of this stuff is 3D printed by Logan again at 3B Printing. I've put Alcantara on the 3D printed grips. Not the best job, not the worst. Something new, tedious, never want to do it again. And again, all of the wiring, again, another tedious thing. But again, it's not that it's bad. It's just a very simple but very light wheel. It's not much to it. You can give it a bunch of different functions overall using DDC. And yeah, you can do a lot with it. But it's very simple. It's very easy. Once you get used to it, it's just not something I ever thought I'd have to learn this quickly and crash course myself in. But again, this is the wheel. So let's get it on the rig, tell you what we think, get to our conclusions, and wrap this up so you can go have some dinner. All right, let's get it on. All right, guys, so welcome. Wheel is now on the VRS wheelbase with the NRG style quick release. Like I said, it's a very light wheel. With the NRG quick release, it makes it quite a bit heavier just because it's a heavy QR. But as you can see, you can kind of see my scratch here. Like I said, not something you'll notice at first glance, but like I said, now that we've got it assembled, you can see all the buttons are essentially right where you'd want them to be. But again, this is based on a real life wheel that they've essentially made so that you can use on your sim rig. Obviously, it's got the 2 funky switches, which, do everything you want it to do. They move through the menus just fine. I can rotate them just fine. They have a nice click to it. All of the buttons, again, like I said, this will depend on where you go with things. As you can see, I have filled in all the letters. It took me forever. I painted them in matte black. I spray painted, then filled each of the letters in. Not perfect, but definitely better than just leaving them all black. So it worked out okay, if I'd say so myself. And last, like I said, with the black screws, the guy I built this for, Steven's going to put a Mercedes logo right here and stick it right on. So it does have that logo. But like I said, it's a very ergonomic wheel as far as where the buttons are located. You can reach everything. I will say in the BOM file, he includes just about everything that you need, so that you can make sure you have all the right switches. And like I said, he includes what it would cost, like an average cost. So it definitely has quite a bit of information there. So it definitely makes life simpler. I will say, after building a Pokorny wheel and building this, one of the guys I'm talking to, Click, thanks for helping me again with this, quite a bit of help. I kind of liken this wheel as to, if you go to IKEA and you buy something, they're going to give you directions on how to put everything together, and that's a Picorni wheel. That's the IKEA. It's you're putting it together. You get a sense of accomplishment out of putting it together. It'll last you years and years to come. It's built sturdy. It has some features that you can kind of customize. But it's going to come exactly how you see in the picture is how it's going to come out if you build it correctly and follow the directions. And the directions from IKEA are pretty simple, and the Picorni directions are just as simple. This wheel is more of a go out in your garage and tinker a little bit. You're going to go online, you're going to find something you want to build, but then you're going to cut all the wood yourself. Then you're going to go out there and you're going to stain it all. You're going to decide what legs you want on the dresser or the table or whatever you're building. And that's where they differ in their approaches. And there's nothing wrong with either one, but I think for me, knowing what you're getting into is the key. And if you like to tinker, like I said, this is definitely the wheel for you. But like I said, it feels great. I mean, it's sturdy. It's light as hell. Because again, there's nothing to it. Mounting all the wires and stuff, does take a little bit of time. It's a very, tedious construction if you want it to look halfway decent. If you just don't mind wires coming out, then you don't have to buy the different heat shrinks and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, it is what you make it. And like I said, all the buttons are right where you need them to be. The clutches are right here. Assembling them was definitely something different than I had anticipated. Be prepared to cut springs. And I just had a set of, those needle nose pliers that had like the little wire cutter in between. And I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I was strong enough to just, cut the spring to the size that I needed. So, I will say this. There are some things that are not in the BOM file that I had to go through the directions. So definitely make sure you read the directions very clearly. Also, make sure that you click on the links in the assembly guide. I have, reached out to the guys at VI, and they've actually updated quite a bit of the directions. So yeah, there's some things that I think, after building the wheel from a DIY standpoint, just make sure you come at it correctly. But like I said, it's ergonomic, it's super light, it's lighter than almost every wheel I've owned. It definitely feels nice and sturdy, like you tighten down your QR. And like I said, it's the faux suede, or you can get leather and do it yourself. You can also leave the 3D printed grips raw and just, decide, what, I'm going to leave them plain and I'm going to wear gloves anyway and then go that route. So you definitely have options. But like I said, buttons are ergonomically placed. Make sure you order the right stuff the first time. If I were you, I would try and get some stuff locally. AliExpress is not bad, but they also aren't great. And with the GX12s, I couldn't use GX12s only because I used 4 of them, and each and every one of them failed. Just connecting it to the powered hub, it would work for a bit. Then I thought I broke it. Then I was like, well, why it's connecting? It's not connecting. It's connecting. It's not connecting. Then I would solder a new one. And again, obviously, I've done a few of these wheels, not this particular one, but a few wheels and a few other projects, and I can solder stuff and follow directions. And for whatever reason, the GX12s I would not get from AliExpress. I would go with something better. Do your research. I mean, I think it's WeDo or something like that, or WeDo, or I can't remember the name, but there are some really nice GX12s that are far more cost a little bit more, but they're going to be more bang for your buck, and you're not going to have those issues. Clearly, if you have had a GSI wheel or Bavarian Simtech wheel in your hand, you can see they use really good quality GX12s. So again, you get what you pay for. Not that you can't go cheap, but sometimes those cheap ones will fail more often. So I would definitely say be conscientious of that. But overall, like I said, here's the wheel. I mean, it looks really nice. I think, like I said, you can see my little scratch there. When I see it face on, like I did color it in, and I'm going to fix it up a little bit. But overall,
it came out quite nice. Like I said, definitely a tinker's type of wheel. You can see behind it, you know, came out quite nice. Now I said, all these wires here that you see, like, you're gonna have to make sure you give yourself enough slack to get around things. Putting all of the heat shrinks on, like this one has 3 heat shrinks. You have your 2x1 with your twisted wire, so you twist the wire first, apply the heat so that it wraps around, you can see the twist. Then you have your 3x1 and then your 4x1. And all of these have self-adhesive glue inside so that, again, it looks more elegant than just seeing a bunch of different colored wires. So it definitely gives the wheel more polish. Inside you can see the PCB is mounted there, PCB right here. So like I said, it's a very, very, very simple wheel that doesn't require a lot. So let's pop that back on there. Let's get to the conclusion and wrap this up and let you know what I think.
Hey, what's up, guys? So let's conclude this video by simply saying, is this the right wheel for you as a DIY? It just really depends on who you are. Honestly, for me, I'm not ready to put together wheels like this just yet. It requires a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of understanding how to use things like Arduinos and DDC, learning how to do things behind the scenes and troubleshooting, and just a very different approach than what I was ready for with this type of DIY project. It is one of those things that is looking and hopes to replicate as much of the real Mercedes GT3 wheel as much as possible. For me, that is a little too much and a little too much to ask for me. Additionally, I'll say this. The directions to put it together, all of the different items you had to grab from various different places, it needs to be more well thought out and put together. I will say this. As a result of doing the build live, I was able to get with the people who run Velocitas Imperium. And because of that, they actually made vast changes to their directions. They've added things online, step-by-step guides on how to do many of those different things. But as of this review, there are still things that are missing from that are just things you should know or assume to know if you've put together other projects. In fact, one of the verbiages in the documentation stated, well, it's pretty easy to assemble. So the assumption was they were going to let you assemble it yourself. But again, like I said, they have thus made that change and made that addition. And again, they do a great job of making those changes, especially when it's brought to light. And I think that's the great thing about who they are and what they're doing. They're doing a lot of this with the ability of you to go out and look on printables and you'll be able to get all the directions and build it yourself, which is absolutely great. Like I said, the problem is, as a new person to this, when you go through the manual, there's so many steps that were just missing from a new person standpoint that you're just sitting there kind of lost. If I didn't have people, and thank you, Click, for helping me. Thank you, Rufus, and I think it's Bettel, I think it was. But again, or Bidet, whatever, I forget what it was. But forgive me. But if they didn't help me, like, I would be lost. I mean, when I say lost, I mean, thank God there's a Discord community. Thank God people were helping me out. But there's a lot of things that are left and they're so vague or they're just missing that you would be lost trying to put this together for a first time. So I would tell anybody, if this is the wheel you're going to try and this is the wheel you really want to build, make sure you have the ability to be patient. You don't want it to be built and working right now immediately, because you're going to need to take some time to understand how to build it, all the materials you need to order. Even though it's a simple wheel, there's still parts to it that you'll need to work on putting together. One of those things is when you're wrapping each one of these with the different types of, 2x1, 3x1, and 4x1 heat shrink. Like, it's a lot of meticulous and twisting each one because you want it to look nice. How you solder things. Some of those things are just missing from the directions on where you should solder or what you should do. So those things, to me, limit the audience that really should go out and build this wheel. Not to say it's not a fun wheel, not to say that, as you saw, you can't have fun with it, but it's one of those things that I will tell you, if you're new to this, I wouldn't make that your first purchase or not even your 10th purchase. I would say make sure you have the skill set to know how to do all of the tinkering to fix, or if it's not working, and again, the Discord community will help you. They will definitely assist you in everything you need, but it's not easy. And for somebody like me at this current status, I wouldn't recommend it for a new person. If you have the skill set, the know-how, absolutely, go ahead. Get it, buy it, build it, you'll have fun with it, experiment with different types of grips, different types of material. I'm telling you, it'll be fun. Putting Alcantara on is the worst invention known to man, or faux suede on the grips. I never want to do that again. In fact, if anybody asks me to do it, I'm going to tell them no, unless you pay me handsomely. So, Stephen, if you want me to build another one with Alcantara grips, I'm going to expect some money. So, with that being said, again, get the wheel. It's not a bad wheel. It's just, I don't know if you're ready to do it. Depends on who you are. And again, Velocitas, I would definitely implore you, make the directions come from a standpoint of somebody who knows absolutely nothing. Eliminate as many links you have to go to. Anything that you have for your shifters and magnetic clutches, they should really be combined into the entire assembly guide. If somebody has put together a Pokorny wheel and then comes to you like I did, they'll be rather lost. So I would say, again, if you have the ability, the time, the patience, can get on the Discord community, have people assist you, it'll definitely help you out. But those directions really need to be a one-stop shop. The assembly guide should be one place to go to see every bit of directions, no matter what it is. And I should only have to reach out to a community when I am really lost. Definitely not in the assembly part. The assembly part should be easy. Put this here, screw this here, solder this here, attach these colors here, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, and bam, you're done. Then the programming piece is going to require a totally different piece. So again, make sure you understand that. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy my content, if you enjoy me, if you think I really am Batman or a black man, go ahead and support me with the thumbs up, notifications on, subscribe to the channel, and trust me, I hope that you enjoy this, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.